The winds on Aethera Prime cut like shards of glass. Marcus Vey had been wandering the frozen plains for 3 days. His oxygen tank dipping below the red line. His emergency beacon pinging weakly into the empty night. He hadn't expected to survive this long after the crash, but some bitter part of him clung to the idea that if the universe had kept him alive this far, it might still have a surprise waiting. His ship, the Ardent Dawn, lay broken in a canyon 10 kilometers behind him, its fuselage torn open by the storm that had caught him off guard. Communications were fried, supplies scattered. He carried only what he could salvage: a heat blanket, a ration pack, a dwindling oxygen tank, and a stubborn refusal to lay down and die. Aethera was a mystery even to the explorers who charted it. A glacial world orbiting a faint red sun, its atmosphere barely breathable with augmentation. The Federation survey logs mentioned ruins, odd energy readings, and unexplained seismic activity. But no one had ever confirmed whether anything alive still walked its surface. Marcus trudged on through another frozen night when he saw it, a crystalline structure, jutting up from the ice like a cathedral spire. It pulsed faintly blue against the darkness, as though lit from within. Hope stirred in his chest, not of rescue but of shelter. He stumbled inside through archways of translucent stone. The air was slightly warmer within, humming with an energy he couldn't place. At the chamber's center lay what looked like a sarcophagus of ice, and inside it a figure, a girl. She was tall, though delicate in frame. Her skin shimmered faintly like pearl. Her hair a cascade of silver strands suspended in frost. Her eyes were closed, her body perfectly still. For a long moment Marcus thought she was dead, some monument left behind by a long-vanished race. Then he saw the condensation. A faint wisp of breath fogged the inside of the ice, fading almost instantly. She was alive. Barely. Marcus staggered back, his mind wrestling with disbelief. A living alien, frozen in some kind of stasis or prison or coma. He pressed a hand to the ice. It was cold enough to bite his skin. His survival instinct screamed that he should leave. He had oxygen for perhaps a day. Sharing it, or wasting precious time on an alien who might not even breathe the same air, was madness. And yet, he remembered the Federation training manuals. First contact protocol. Preserve life when possible. Respect native conditions. Share warmth if necessary. Survival is universal. She was dying in there. He could see it. The pulse of breath was weakening, slower each time. Marcus unclipped the heat blanket from his pack. It was the one thing keeping his body from freezing during the nights. Without it he might not see sunrise. But without it she would never wake. He hesitated only a moment longer before he wrapped the blanket around the crystalline pod, pressing it flush to the ice. Warmth seeped into his own hands as well, though far less than before. He sank down beside the sarcophagus, pulling what little fabric remained over himself. He sat there through the long hours of night, shivering violently. His body ached, teeth chattering as the temperature dropped. His vision blurred from exhaustion. And still he clung to the pod, sharing every scrap of heat he had. Then at the edge of dawn the ice cracked. A sound like glass shattering filled the chamber. He jerked awake as the sarcophagus split down the center. Steam hissed outward, fogging the crystalline walls. The girl stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, silver luminous, reflecting the pale dawn spilling in from the spire's entrance. She sat up slowly, strands of hair falling around her face like molten moonlight. Her gaze locked onto Marcus. For a long moment neither moved. Then she exhaled a trembling breath and spoke, not in words he knew, but in harmonics, tones that seemed to vibrate directly in his skull. His translator implant scrambled to process, failing at first, then piecing fragments together. Warmth. You gave me warmth. Marcus swallowed hard, forcing his voice through cracked lips. You were freezing. He coughed. I couldn't just let you die. The girl's eyes softened, her hand reaching toward him. Her fingers brushed his face, cold but alive. The middle, the planet's voice. Over the next hours, Marcus learned more than he had in years of exploration. The girl's name, as close as his implant could render it, was Elira. She belonged to the first kin, the ancient race that had once thrived on Ethera. The crystalline spires were not ruins but conduits, structures that linked her people directly to the planet itself. Your people left, Marcus said, huddling close to her as the blanket clung around them both. Why are you still here? Her gaze turned downward. I was chosen to remain. When the sun weakened, when the storms came, the first kin placed their essence into Ethera, sleeping beneath its surface. I was their vessel. I was to awaken only if the planet called me. But something went wrong. I froze before I could answer. Marcus frowned. The planet called you. What does that mean? Elira pressed her palm against the crystalline wall, and for the first time Marcus felt it, the hum of energy resonating like a heartbeat. Ethera is alive. Not as you are alive, but in the deep time of worlds. We were its children. And it is calling now. As if to answer, the chamber trembled. Ice dust fell from the ceiling. A low groan echoed through the spire. Marcus's heart hammered. Earthquakes. No. Awakening, Elira whispered. Your warmth has rejoined me to Ethera. At sunrise it will speak. Marcus wasn't sure if hypothermia was making him hallucinate, but he couldn't deny the truth in her eyes. She was alive because of him. And if her words held any weight, the planet itself had noticed. The sunrise. The dawn came slowly, painting the frozen plains with crimson light. Elira led Marcus to the top of the spire, her movements graceful despite the years entombed in ice. He staggered behind, weak and half-frozen, but unwilling to let go. As the sun broke the horizon, the ground beneath them vibrated. Across the plains, fissures opened, releasing streams of glowing energy that raced toward the spire. The air filled with a deep resonance, a voice that wasn't sound but something deeper, felt in bone, blood, and thought. Marcus fell to his knees as the presence engulfed him. Elira stood tall, eyes blazing silver. The voice spoke. Human, you gave warmth to one of mine. You preserved the thread of life where cold sought to sever it. You have bound yourself not only to her, but to me. Marcus gasped, trembling. I just shared a blanket. I didn't know. Small acts echo in vast ways. You gave so that another might rise. In doing so, you have awakened the first kin. For this I thank you. The fissures flared brighter, forming patterns across the ice like constellations. Marcus realized with awe, they were forming cities, shapes of entire civilizations long buried. Elira knelt beside him, her hand clasping his. You are no longer alone. The planet has accepted you. Marcus blinked through tears freezing on his lashes. Accepted me. She smiled, a warmth in her eyes that rivaled the blanket itself. Ethera calls you guardian of dawn. The ending, a new bond. Over the days that followed, the world transformed. Spires ignited with inner light, melting back the endless blizzards. Rivers of energy coursed through valleys, thawing ancient seed banks hidden beneath the ice.